You're listening to DrachenPod, the official podcast of DrachenFest US. Please share, like, review, and subscribe to help our community of champions grow. Learn more and secure your tickets for this incredible experience today at DrachenFest.us. DrachenFest US, the largest fantasy LARP event in the United States. Each June, more than 1,200 attendees spend 4 days in Pennsylvania, role-playing fantasy characters engaged in immersive gameplay, experiencing stories, celebrations, battles, and medieval life. You have answered the call, and your adventure begins with this episode of DrachenPod. Welcome to DrachenPod, the official podcast of DrachenFest US. I'm Ryan Faricelli. I'm the marketing coordinator for DrachenFest.
I'm Carie. I'm the design lead for Limbus.
I'm Jason Hughes. I'm the coordinator for the Limbus team.
And Limbus, of course, is part of DrachenFest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So as we learned last time, it's part of the mechanic for coming back from the dead.
Oh, that's true.
And it's a secret.
We do not talk about Limbus.
Don't talk. What happens in Limbus?
Days in Limbus.
That's right.
Well, today it's kind of exciting. We have a unique show. We're being joined by Rhys Benson. Rhys is the head ref, kind of leads all of the referees, and we're going to learn about what a ref is and how it's like and not like a storyteller and a game runner, and get involved a little bit with what the mechanics are like and what new players can expect.
Wow. All right.
That sounds amazing.
Let's dive right in. I summon into the podcast the one whose guidance protects and enables players at DrachenFest. The one whose training and leadership guides the team of referees. The one whose rules are driven by fairness and empowerment. I call forth Rhys Benson! Welcome, Rhys. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here.
Yay!
Rhys, tell us, who are you and what do you do at DrachenFest?
I am a longtime LARPer. I think we're going on 22 years now. And I am the head referee for DrachenFest US. I am, kind of in a nutshell, the referee trainer, rulebook editor, and final decision on many unusual questions that come up the chain from players and referees.
Let's begin then with, what is a referee? Is it a lot of folks who are listening who've maybe never been to DrachenFest but have LARPed before, or if they've tabletop before, like they would be inclined to think either that a referee is only a mechanics and rules adjudicator, or they might think that a referee is like a game master or a storyteller. What is a referee at DrachenFest for your team?
It's kind of a blending of those two different roles. We have folks who specifically focus on mechanical safety for combat. That's our battle team. They're there to keep eyeballs out for folks as they're fighting. Hopefully they're adhering to the rules as we have written them and explained them to folks, making sure that the physical landscape is conducive to fighting. You know, if there's a giant stump in the middle, you're going to have one of the battle team is keeping people from tripping on it.
Cool.
And then on the other end of things, we have our camp refs, who they're where mechanics and storytelling collide. Folks who come from a parlor LARP standpoint know about storytellers. They know about those are the people who've kind of written the story in the background, and they're guiding the story through the event. You know, people come to them to ask questions about what's happening, to use their skills. They drop little hints and things like that for the various plots they're doing. Referees do that, but they did not write the plot. They are there to help your stories as players get the attention and development that they need, as well as assist our plot team, who have kind of written some general overarching story beats that they would like to see hit throughout the weekend. They're also the source of truth for any question that you have about a mechanical system. Whether that's you're an alchemist and you don't remember what you were taught at the Alchemy Guild about how you're supposed to put together a potion or what a certain particular herb looks like, or whether it's hey, I have this cool prop that I think should be a magical item. How do I make that happen? Referees are the ones who you go to, and that's how you get the story started. That's where you get things rolling from a mechanical support or an ideas support standpoint.
I love that sentence that you said, the source of truth. Because, in any role-playing game, a lot of it is like, trying to figure out what's really going on or investigating something. But all too often, it's easy to get, as a person running the game, what do I hide, what do I reveal? But having a person I can go to, and I know everything they say to me is just going to be absolutely true. That is phenomenal. It would give me a lot of comfort as a player to know anything this person tells me is not just true, but accurate, and that they're an advocate for me, and they're on the front lines.
And referees, we are human. We do occasionally make mistakes, but the intention behind referees being there and being a team, each camp has a team of people that they work together, is that they're going to take the time to find the correct answer to give it to the player, or if they don't know it, to help find the answer with the player. The magical item example, there's no one way really to put together a magical item. It's all based on what the item is and what the kind of story the player wants to do. So that means the referee gets to help them make those decisions about where it's going to go. And between the two of them, they become the source of truth for what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So it's very collaborative.
It is meant to be a collaborative storytelling experience. And just like building sandcastles at the beach means that you need to have the right tools, you also need to know where the boundaries are. You need to know where the beach, where the ocean is, and where the boardwalk starts.
Right.
I like to say that a sandbox without borders is just a desert that you're lost in.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. That is such a problem. Any role-playing game I've played in where they're like, it's a sandbox, do what you want. I'm like, I don't know even what I want. I don't have anything to start from.
I'm a teacher. I teach art, and the thing that helps my students most is giving them borders.
Mm-hmm.
Work within this area. And I think that everyone creates better when they have borders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need to have the edges of that sandbox to be able to say, okay, well, this is inside the world. This is something that we can use. This is a truth about the world versus stuff that's outside the sandbox, which can detract from those sorts of truths. It's when we play a fantasy game, things are meant to be fantasy. They're meant to be inside the fantasy boundaries of the sandbox. Means that you're not going to see steampunk airships, ray guns, aliens, spaceship shoots. So any of those things at DrachenFest. You might see some things that kind of brush up against it. You might see somebody who has a really cool sword that has gears in it, or you might see somebody whose armor looks like it's something futuristic. But they're all here to play within the fantasy sandbox. So they may have an interesting explanation for it, but it's a fantasy item.
Is the referee kind of the first staff point of contact for most players in most circumstances?
Outside of operations, I would think so, yeah. Once you get on site and you've checked in with operations and you've gotten down to your campsite and you've met with your camp coordinator, because camp coordinator is a player just like you, there to help build the experience.
Is a camp coordinator also a referee?
No, actually, camp coordinators are volunteers. They are players who have dedicated their time and effort throughout the rest of the year to make sure that the camp gets organized correctly. They work really closely with referees and the rest of the staff, but they are not a staff member.
Okay.
That's cool. It's one of the things I love about DrachenFest is that players step up and take out-of-game leadership to help make the experience better for everybody around them.
Lots of the enterprises are examples of that, where players have found a need and they've just stepped up into the role of running the tea house, or the Ciceronic companions who are our guides around the bazaar versus our companions who are the mercenary company. But they all fill their niche. The first staff member that somebody probably interacts with is going to be a referee, and it's likely their first interaction is going to be either, hey, where do I park my car now that I've unloaded all of my stuff and I need to get it out to park, or, hey, I hear there's a free game briefing. Where do I need to go for that?
I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit because I feel like it's maybe going to make more sense this way. Can you tell us a little bit about those camp roles, because there is a camp lead, like you said, there's also camp referees, and then there's also a thing called an avatar, which is like a dragon demigod sort of thing. Can you maybe just share what that leadership is like on a camp level?
Most players are going to interact with the avatar and the second. Each camp is focused around a series of values that they are meant to represent. Blue camp is about greed and freedom. Green camp is about nature versus nurture. Silver is about justice and mercy. Shadow is about cleverness and dark magics. Red is about honor and crafting, actually. The person who is meant to represent those values in your camp, a central point around which the story of your camp can kind of turn, and you can always come back to find the next beat that you're going to go and look for. These are staff members who are excellent actors and are very, very interested in providing an immersive experience for the players who are within their camp. They are representing the humanoid avatar of the dragon, the unknowable, immortal, immutable force of the universe that is represented by the camp and the color that has been chosen.
So is the avatar in charge?
No, the avatar is there to see and witness the efforts of those who have dedicated themselves to them. They are, as I said, they're a central kind of turning point, but they're not the ones going out and doing things. That's the players. They are just a witness to what the accomplishments of the players.
They are kind of the eyes of the dragon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very much so.
And this is an NPC that is in character, in game.
Yes, this is the staff member who is playing a role specifically selected for them. And then they have their second, who, from a story perspective, is the human hands of the avatar. So the avatar is this magical representation of the dragon in a humanoid form. The second is a human who has said, okay, I'm going to be your helper. I'm going to be the person who is your second set of hands, your second set of eyes. They're also not leading the camp. Again, go right back to players are the ones who are doing all of the cool stuff. They're the ones who are making the decisions about things. The second is just the avatar, as mortal bodies can only be. The avatar can only be in one place, so the second provides an additional set of hands and eyes.
Is that also an NPC?
Yes, this is also a staff member actor who is playing that role. From there, you've got these two NPC roles for each camp. You then have the ref team. Now, the avatar and the second are considered part of the broader ref team. They're supported by me and the ref resources that come out to make sure that they get fed, watered, sleep. All of those important things. But they are sort of under the watchful guidance and the authority of the camp lead ref. This is somebody who has the skills, the understanding, the compassion, the empathy to listen to player concerns, player needs, and be able to make decisions for the team of staff members who are assigned to that camp to make sure that everything is going in the correct direction. They've been selected usually because they're a veteran ref of DrachenFest and they know the ropes, or they bring something specifically special to a particular role because each camp is a little bit different in what it needs. Under the lead camp ref are the camp ref. These are folks who have been just as highly trained, just as knowledgeable at everything else, but often they're somebody who is excited to be participating also in the game in some perspective on their off time, or they're somebody who is brand new to the game, and so they're just learning how it works and are dedicated themselves to providing the experience rather than joining you as a player.
I'm always blown away by how many first-timers are refs, but it's a very good thing.
It is a good thing.
How many refs do each camp have?
So that depends on how many refs we have in a year. The numbers kind of fluctuate back and forth depending on how large we are as a game.
And how large the camp is too, right? Like, because sometimes some camps have more players than others.
Yes, I think a previous game we had a camp that was over 200 people, and they did get one extra ref in the rotation. My ideal is to have the lead ref and at least 4 camp refs with them so that they can split their time over the course of the day. Refs are on shift for 6 to 7 hours from about 9 o'clock when the game turns on to about 1 a.m. when the game turns off.
That's good. That's good to know as a player that there are actually, you don't have to stop role playing, but there are actually hours, so to speak, for things when you need a ref.
One of the things I like to remind players of is while the game is an immersive 24-hour experience for these 5.5 days that you are on site, you are still a person. You are still a human who has needs, and some of those needs include things like food, sleep, showering, relaxation, time away from all of the adrenaline and the excitement that's going on.
Right.
You do not have to worry about somebody sneaking into camp at 2:00 in the morning and stealing the banner and taking it back and winning a point off of you because they can't. That's what the cutoffs are for war game hours, which is 10:00, and then mechanics hours, which is 1 a.m.
Okay.
But if I still
there's
wanted to have a one-on-one duel with somebody after hours, I just have to. I can still do that, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Mechanics that don't require ref intervention are absolutely still on the table. Just because 1:00 says mechanics off does not mean you have to stop playing the game. As long as a mechanic doesn't require ref intervention or use, you can still utilize it. So you can still go fight somebody in a one-on-one duel. You can still make crafting repairs for something. Say somebody's armor's gotten busted. You can sit down at the crafting bench and bang that dent out.
Could I make a potion?
You can. So you cannot do potions and you cannot do ritual magic because both of those require ref intervention.
Okay.
They require a ref to stamp a completed potion once you've done all the roleplay for it. And rituals are a collaborative experience designed with the ref so that we know that everybody is getting the same experience with regards to magic and its effects and narratives throughout the game.
So that's a bit of a game and role play balancer.
Yes.
Mhm.
You definitely want everybody to be able to access the same tools and the same sort of quality of experience. And that does require sometimes a little bit of staff guidance.
If we're talking about staff guidance, I'd like to ask, as a player, am I going to be told no when I ask for stuff? What is my experience going to be like when I come to a ref? What should I expect?
So you'll hear a lot of people talk about yes and. And that's a philosophy that we like to lean towards. Yes and means that we'll say, yeah, your idea is really cool, and here's how I would suggest you do this, or here's how I think that's going to go, or here's another thing that you haven't thought about that you maybe want to include. I cannot, however, say that we will never say no. But what I like to say is that we say no, but. Because sometimes what you're asking for isn't within the scope of the game. Somebody asking to build a steampunk ray gun is not within the scope of the game. On the other hand, if the reason that they're interested in building a steampunk ray gun is because they really want to shoot somebody with something, there's a cannons crew right over there.
Right.
So no, we can't build a steampunk ray gun. But if you go over and talk with the cannoneers over there, maybe they'll teach you how to use the cannon and you can help them the next time a siege comes around. So then you get to shoot people.
And then you'll know how to build like a siege machine next year, if that's something you want to do. Okay.
Yep.
What makes playing at DrachenFest unique compared to tabletop or other LARPs, whether it's a parlor LARP or a boffer LARP?
For one, it's certainly larger than any other LARP that I've ever played, honestly, parlor or boffer.
Right. Dan told us last week that it was 1,200 people last year, which is incredible.
Yes. Part of the reason that I think that DrachenFest is so unique is games that are narrative focused are usually there's a storyteller who has written a specific world or a specific type of plot that they are helping to guide these players through, whether it's they want to run a heist plot, they want to do Ocean's 11, and so they're letting players create characters within that world of, hey, this is the construct that we're going to tell our story in, or they just want to explore a specific type of world, like, oh, it's vampire is a really common one. It's the, hey, you all are living in this city under this prince. What do you do? There is a little bit of story guidance from the plot team, some kind of big overarching, hey, these are things that people can engage with if they are interested. And those are all kind of tied into the contest and being able to earn dragon eggs to, raise your dragon up and hopefully win the contest. But the majority of stories that are told at DrachenFest have nothing to do with the plot team. They are things that come out of player action. Players come in with their own backstories. They know who they are. They know where they're coming from. They know how they're going to react to things when they come to them. Usually what they're used to reacting against is an NPC, which has got some predefined lines or a particular goal in mind because storyteller. Here, they're not bouncing off of NPCs. They are bouncing off of other players. So you have one player's backstory coming up against another player's backstory, and where they meet is where story happens.
Right.
Last year's plot about the moon.
It was so fascinating.
So this is an example of where the plot team set out an overarching kind of plot beat into the world and then just let it go where it was will. They said that the Shadow Dragon, for fun, had decided to take the moon from the sky and hide it for the event. It was very well timed. It was a new moon for the entire event, so the sky was in fact dark. There was no moon. And there was in fact a moon prop. It was one of those like light up bedside lamp moons.
Yeah.
And they hid it in the bazaar. And then, just let the rumor trickle out that the moon was missing and that it was maybe somebody was hiding it somewhere. I don't know all the details because there's so many different ways this went, but I do know that the moon itself got stolen, was lost, was stolen again by a different group, was re-thieved by the initial group, was stolen and stuck in, I believe, the Green Camp Tavern, where they started serving moon-touched drinks.
I can't believe I missed that.
I know.
And all the while these Ocean's 11 heist, knives out heist nonsense going on, there's a group of crafters who are saying, well, if we can't find the moon, can we make a moon? And so there's this group of players who have decided that they are going to explore the intersection between crafting in the Drachenlands and magic and what the Avatar's magic can do when it is sought and blessings are given upon the materials and the materials are worked as a community, as a collaborative experience, and these things are put together and it's all brought to the great ritual circle and the mages infuse their magic in it and they created a whole new moon. And that is actually the moon that is currently in the sky in the Drachenland. The original moon is still missing.
Oh, that's amazing.
But the crafted moon itself did in fact get placed up in the sky this year, blessed by all 5 of the dragons.
That's amazing.
That's all players.
Right?
The only thing that the staff did was say the moon was stolen, and you can probably find it if you go look in the groundskeeper shed.
Right.
I think I love about DrachenFest plot is it's just open-ended problems or contests. It's never like, this must happen or the world will end. It's more like, this must happen if you want it to.
Yeah.
Or this did happen. What are you going to do?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Stories bouncing off of stories and creating more.
You are the ref team. There is rules, right? What kind of rules actually exist? Tell us about these sandbox walls and how they interact with the role play and with consent and spells and combat and those sorts of things.
So DrachenFest is a rules light game system. The idea behind it is to provide just enough sandbox walls so that players can create their characters, and interact in a fair and safe fashion. Those sorts of rules, we got things about how armor is counted and how weapons are constructed as rules. We have things about, hey, this is what certain classes can do so that you have some shape to what your character can be. And then we have some rules that are about roleplay and more about keeping the person behind the character safe than it is about making sure that the characters are interacting fairly. I really like the fact that DrachenFest has such a limited number of mechanical systems to it, because it means that players all know that everybody is operating in the same realm. There isn't a hidden secret layer that you can't ever find unless you have spent 5 years researching it and gone on 12 delves. And no, none of that. Everything that people can know is available either in the rulebook or on our blog or through discovery in the world. And it's something that a first-year player could find if they put a little effort in.
And if they're not sure where to begin, it sounds like they could always talk to their camp ref.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Somebody who says, oh, I am a hedge witch and I like making potions, but I have no idea where I'm supposed to go to learn about magic or potion making. Go to the ref. The ref is going to say, hey, if you're interested in potion making, there is an alchemy guild up in the bazaar. I think if you go up there and you ask about classes, they might teach you how to make potions here in the Drachenland. Or, hey, you're interested in magic and you start with some spells and you get to use them right off the bat. But if you want to learn a little bit more about how magic works and maybe get access to a cool technique like being able to meditate and cut down on your refresh time, or be able to put your spell into a scroll that you can then hand to somebody else to cast, you have to go up to the Magic Guild. And those folks up in the 2 guilds, while is a lot of player involvement in both of those, the guild leads are also referees.
Okay. Would you say those guild skills are something that somebody would feel like they have to have if they're going to be competitive in the game?
Absolutely not.
Or would the camp need so many people to go up and be alchemists to feel like they were competitive?
There are lots of people who come in with that mindset because they are numbers gamers.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you
Number
may,
get bigger.
There's nothing wrong with being a number get bigger player. But it's not the way that the game is designed. The game is really designed that a first-year player can have as much effect on whatever story is going on as somebody who has been there year upon year upon year. It might be that first-year player needs to go ask a couple questions on how to accomplish something, but they're not going to be better at what they're interested in doing than the 5, 6, 7-year player. You can, and this is a little bit of a secret that I think a lot of players figure out eventually once they start interacting with referees and guilds and other players. If it's cool and everybody is having a good time and it doesn't hurt anybody, do you really have to have a mechanic to do it? So somebody who comes in says, hey, I'm not an alchemist, but I have a really cool potion, a liquor from my world, that in my world, if you drink it, it has hallucinogenic effects. I'd really like to bring this out and like share it with folks. How do I get the hallucinogenic effect? Go to the ref. Ref looks at it and says, well, is there any like mechanic to the hallucinations? Do you get like, in your world, would you get like a bonus to your health or something? No, it's just a fun hallucination effect. Okay. Just let people know that when you are passing out this liquor, that this is an opt-in roleplay experience that they can have. You don't need a card. You don't need a lesson from potion making up at Alchemy. You just need to explain what's going on to people who are engaging with you and give people the opportunity to tell you no.
You had said something earlier about blog.
We do have a blog.
Yeah, tell us about that. Like, what's up there? Like, what are they going to be able to read about before they get to DrachenFest?
Some of the things that we have put previous published posts on is what do refs do? That's one I wrote and included a bunch of quotes from previous year's refs about the things that they have really enjoyed doing and participating in. We also have a condensed version of our rules update. When that happens, a change log will get posted of all the things that have changed, and sometimes that'll also have explanations as to why we did it, whether that's be like, hey, we got feedback that this wasn't working, or hey, we learned that this arrow company is better for safety purposes, so we're recommending these arrows instead of these. And sometimes you'll get posts from the guild where they want to talk about something specific, like our Thieves Guild. The Thieves Guild is a particular experience. If you're looking for the sneaky experience of joining a secret organization, if you played Skyrim and you enjoyed the quest line for getting into the Thieves Guild in Skyrim, that's the sort of experience that the Thieves Guild is trying to provide. It's not about being in the guild. It's about the journey of getting into the guild. And that was a point of friction for a lot of players who were expecting to be able to walk in and get access to some of the skills that the Thieves Guild provides, because that's how their games work at home. You show up, you join, you get skills. The Thieves Guild last year posted a post where they talked about, hey, this is the journey, what we're trying to do for folks. This is the experience that we are providing. If this is not the experience you're looking for, we're probably not the guild you want to join. And that expectation setting was really helpful. We had a huge decrease in people being frustrated with their experience with the Thieves Guild. And many of them talked about it was nice to have it just straight up said to me of, hey, this is what I'm looking at and whether I want to engage or not.
Appropriate expectations are always important.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's number one things that a ref does is set expectations, isn't it?
It really is. lots of people come in with preconceived ideas about what a game is like. Usually it's influenced by what they've seen, what they've done, or what kind of game they came from. If somebody is only ever done tabletop, they may not have the experience of, well, what do you mean I have to go physically do the thing that I'm trying to talk about? I want to do diplomacy. Okay, cool. Have you talked to this person? What do you mean I have to go talk to them? People come in and they have their expectations, and referees are there to gently say, hey, here's where the mismatch is happening. Let's get you aligned, and then give you an example of where you should maybe try to go with what you want to do.
What would you say is the biggest frustration a new player could encounter? Because a lot of folks who are listening to this to try and figure out, okay, how am I going to do DrachenFest for my first time, right? And we don't want them to sit by a fire looking around going, I wish I had something to do, right? Like, what is probably the biggest misconception that can keep someone from having a good time? Let's help folks.
It's a dual parter for this. They are intricately connected. The first part is you cannot do everything in a single DrachenFest. The game is specifically designed to have too much for any single person to do. You have to make decisions about what you want to do this year and what you're going to save for the next year, or make different decisions next year about what's important to you. Classes run when they run. There are no extra classes generally. If you wanted to get the Alchemy Potion class, you need to make the time to go to the Alchemy Potion class when it happens.
And it might run at the same time as another class that you were interested in.
Yes, and it might run at the same time as something else that's going on. If you want to go and participate in the Fighters Guild tournament, but there's a siege happening down the hill, you have to make the choice. Are you going to go fight in the siege, or are you going to participate in the Fighters Guild tournament?
Right.
It's not a failure for you not to do the thing that you wanted to do because of if you got distracted, if you found something else to do, if you needed sleep. It's not a failure because these things are also going to be happening again next year. You will have another set of potion class. The Fighters Guild tournament will happen again. There will be a million different sieges over the course of the years that you can participate in. So there's always going to be too much for you to do everything. You have to make the choice about what you're going to do because it's not coming to you.
Okay.
Lots of buffer LARPers are experienced with, oh, here's a wave of NPCs. Here's a wave of mobs that we're going to go fight. They're coming into town, so we're going to get up out of our chair off the porch and go fight the zombies that have shown up in town. There are no NPCs that are coming to fight. There is no NPC who is coming into town screaming about how, Timmy's fallen down the well and we need somebody to come help him.
Right.
You're going to have to go out into the world and find the things that you want to do. And sometimes that means putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, like walking up to the camp gate of another camp because you want to get in a fight and you haven't been able to find anybody, and you're standing outside of the red camp's gate, knocking on the door, going, somebody come out and fight me. I just want to fight somebody. You're going to get people, but you need to go and knock on the gate.
Right.
So if I want to fight a horde of zombies, I got to go find one. And it's going to be players.
And it is going to be players. In fact,
it's going to be players.
First year, one of our Necromancer Red School players, mage players, absolutely raised like 12 people from the battlefield, and so 12 players got to shamble as zombies across the field at their own army.
Yeah,
they were all ecstatic about that.
Sure. What do I need to do then if I'm a new player and I'm about to come to DrachenFest? I have to make my character. How do I do that?
So you're going to go into our rule book. Our rule book talks about, walks you through all the different steps for making the character. Your biggest things that you need to think about are what kind of role are you interested in taking, whether that's alchemist, marksman, defender, champion. Think about what kind of what the idea of your character is and how it might fit. These are not strict definitions. What the thing does and what you are does not have to match in terms of name. You can take the champion role, which gives you 2 extra health points, because your character is just a beefy tank person. He doesn't have to be the champion of anything. But you could also use those role titles to kind of give yourself shape if you don't really have a full shape for your character yet. You're then if you are selecting one of the roles that has some additional information to it, whether that spellcaster or crafter. Spellcaster, you have to pick your spells. I want to say there's like 10 or 12. I might need to count that. Might be up to 15. But they're all listed in the rulebook, and they all talk about what they do. And you're going to pick 5 of them.
And they are not all combat spells.
They are not all combat spells. Many of them are, in fact, roleplay based. In fact, one of the ones that I think is one of the funniest ones is friendship, which is entirely, hey, I have enchanted this little token of my esteem. I give it to you. You're going to think kindly of me. You're going to think, you're going to be friendly to me for as long as you're holding that token or however long it lasts. I think it's 10 minutes until it runs out. At which point, you know that you've been influenced by this token, but you just spent the last 10 minutes being friendly with this person.
There's a mechanical bit to that I ran into a player who didn't understand last game. Can you explain if you have one of those spells where you need that sort of card that explains it to the other person, how that works and where they get them?
Okay, so you're talking about ability cards. We kind of divided the abilities of the various roles into categories. Those cards come in a couple of different ways. You can get them from ops if you need, or you can go to the guild. And this is how I really recommend people do it: is you go up to the guild, and the guilds will give you a copy of a card. It's about business card size that has the explanation of what spells do. It has the explanation of what your ability does, and you should keep those on you, especially if you have an ability that has some sort of interaction with a ref, like Alchemist, because you can always reference that for how do I make a potion. And there are some potions that you have to have specific abilities in order to have successfully made, and the rest will check that out. Short answer to your question is you talk to the guild that it specializes in that. Most of the combat ones are going to come from the Fighters Guild. Alchemy comes from Alchemy. All the magic ones come from the Magic Guild.
If you read the card, it tells you exactly what you're supposed to do. If you read the spell in the book, it is not as clear. And so that's the point, though. You're supposed to get the card to give to the person so they understand how it works.
Yes, and it's an opportunity for players to ask questions about the mechanics of a spell or the mechanics of an ability, because they're standing face to face with the guild, the referee, an expert in that particular domain of play.
And they can always go ask their camp ref if they're not sure. Who should I talk to? And then they'll direct you to that guild ref or whomever.
Exactly.
So when a new player arrives on site, they will check in, and then they go to their camp. From just sort of an out of game that first day, is there an orientation, or like, is a new player going to just be like, be thrown to the wolves and be like, put your tent up, go?
No, absolutely not. You're going to have a camp coordinator when you arrive down at where your camp is, and they are going to direct you, welcome you in, introduce themselves, talk about, how the camp is being set up, where they think you should set up, depending on what kind of tent you have, whether it's an in-genre tent or whether it's a modern tent. Both are welcome in the camp. Just they're sorted based on the view of the camp from the gate. So you want it to look like that immersive experience from the gate, and then further back you have the modern tent. They'll direct you. You'll get to meet your neighbors. There's going to be lots of people who are going to be excited to see a new face. And on Wednesday, I'd say 4 or 5 o'clock, the camp refs will call everybody in the camp together for a pregame briefing. And that briefing goes over some of the highlights, the important things that people need to know about playing DrachenFest. It's things like, what do you do with your trash when you need to dispose of your trash? Where do you go if you need medical assistance? If you have questions about having a fire pit or cooking food, like you have a barbecue, brought your barbecue grill. Who do you ask those questions of? And also, we'll give you some advice about things that we have experienced over time. Things like, remember to shut the lid on the porta-john, because that's how you get the smell to go up the pipe instead of into the porta-john box.
Very important.
Right?
Very, very important.
It's these tiny practical things that I think refs are almost best about, is because, I've been doing this. I know I've got this experience. I can help you make this experience as good as possible with little things.
We've been doing this.
Doing this
Many of us have been doing this for a bit. Even if it's not DrachenFest, we have been doing camping or long weekend LARP like this, where we have learned the tricks and the trials of things. Change your socks. That's the other one that I
Yeah,
think is
that's
the one of the most important pieces of information I will ever tell any player is have extra socks, change them twice a day. It sounds stupid, but you can't imagine how much more of a person you feel after you have put on fresh socks.
I tell people bring multiple shoes. You
Yes.
Yep. You will get worn
another
out
one.
wearing the same shoes for that length of time. And if you just swap out, even if those other shoes are worse, it will rest your feet.
People get really concerned about, but I only have one pair of in-genre shoes. I'm more concerned about you as a person, comfort, and your ability to continue walking around the campsite than I am about you wearing your brand new white New Balances out on the battlefield.
Right.
Nobody is going to call you out for wearing your sneakers because your feet hurt. People will not ever let you live down the fact that you were not able to walk up the hill for the final battle because your feet were killing you.
Right. This initial camp meeting then is also going to, I'm assuming, introduce you to all the important people that you need to know.
Usually we have the avatars and the seconds down. Sometimes we don't. They are often getting ready for the opening ceremony, which is this big theatrical event. But you will absolutely get introduced to your lead camp ref and all of the camp refs that you will see over the course of the week.
There are some people who have been to DrachenFest before that are like, man, I think it would be really cool to help actually like run this a little. Like, and it sounds like some of your refs in some of the positions do still get to play some. Can people become refs?
Yeah, reffing is a volunteer position. It's just like if you go to a convention and you're super excited about participating in the convention and you volunteer there, agree to take the training that we provide, and you sign up for a shift every single day as part of this team. Shifts are generally 6 to 7 hours long. The more refs we have, the shorter those shifts become.
Okay.
And when you are off duty, when you are not on shift, helping out people and getting to watch what's going on in the camp that you're sitting in, or helping out with battle team, adjudicating all the sieges, you're a player. You are welcome to go out into the world and participate in the Drachenlands just as any other player is. You do get free breakfast, lunch, and dinner as part of it.
Oh.
And there's also some cool swag, like a full commemorative set of coins for the year.
Nice.
And your ticket to the event is paid for. Also get a discounted ticket for somebody who's coming with you, your significant other, your friend who you are borrowing the tent from. It's a nice little bonus to have
That's
somebody
actually
give
a
you
huge
early in the
bonus,
event.
right?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's a big difference, especially when I'm talking about just doing 6-7 hour shifts a day. That's pretty good.
Right. Especially when it runs 24 hours.
Right. It runs 24 hours. So that's amazing. I've taken the ref training. It's phenomenal.
Thank you. It's been a labor of love over the last several years as we've learned how running a festival works in the United States. One of the things that I hear as a concern from players who are interested but maybe don't want to spend their whole event because they're afraid they're going to miss something.
They will miss something.
You may miss something, but we try really hard to make sure that you have the opportunity to go and participate in the lesson, the tournament, the dance that is really important to you. I myself have come down and sat at one of my refs tables in the camp so that they could go up and participate in the Fighters Guild tournament because I knew how much it meant to them to be able to go and do that. We are not just volunteers. We are a group of people that care both about the game and each other. And we want our experience of running the game to be just as fun as the experience that players have playing it.
So how does someone become a ref?
There is an application on the website.
What?
Yes. If you go onto the website and you look at event info and get involved, it will take you down to join the team. The teams that we are pretty constantly looking for people is the build team, setup and breakdown, beginning and end of the event, the referees, and operations. Click I want to join the team, and there's just a couple of questions that they ask about whether you have any experience playing in LARP, what type of games you have played prior to this. Do you have any helpful skills that you think might be useful for this? What sort of story interests you have? And once you've submitted that application, one of the head ref team, either myself or one of my assistant head refs, will reach out to you to schedule an opportunity to talk about the experience and what you are interested in doing. We really want people to understand what they're signing up for ahead of time, but once you have had that interview, if you're still on board, we're happy to have you on the team.
I can say I'm not on the ref, but I do know that there is no wrong answer to any of those questions because
Absolutely.
I've met a ref who flew in from someplace out in California, and he had never LARPed ever at all. And he just came as a ref for the first time because he was like, I wonder what this is like. And he was awesome. And he's been back ever since. So even experience is not necessarily something that will exclude you.
I do so love Silver too. His enthusiasm and his impeccable dress sense.
Oh my gosh,
every
it's
year.
so true.
He is an excellent person. And you're right. There is no wrong answer to any of these questions. LARPing does provide sort of a framework for what you might be signing up for, but that doesn't mean that somebody who has never LARPed before is excluded. People who have tabletop experience have done really well. People who have never LARPed before or participated in tabletop before have had a great experience being a ref. I say that if you have ever volunteered for any organization and you have enjoyed the process of running something, whether that's convention or a food drive or something like that, if you've enjoyed the experience of making things go and seeing the interconnected cogs turn, you're going to have a good time with us. And we want you to come and try becoming a ref.
Do you ever get to play at all?
I do get to walk around. I really enjoy the atmosphere of festival games like this. I like being able to walk down the street of the bazaar and hear people hawking wares, offering tea, an argument with the brass brigade breaking out and getting to watch somebody get chased by somebody else wielding a shoe as a weapon. That's my fun that I get from the event, is existing in a world that for 5 days is an escape from reality.
We do have to ask one question, which is, what is your worst character you've ever played? It can be your cringiest. It can be your first and you were just bad at it.
I played a game called Legend of the Five Rings, which is a fantasy amalgamation of China, Korea, Japan history, samurai and dragons and monks and things like that. And I played the edgiest edgelord, secret in the walls ninja mage from a family who their bloodline was cursed to destroy the thing that they love in every single lifetime of every single member of their family. And I brought about the downfall of my best friend's entire clan.
I love it.
What was the character's name?
Yogo Seiko.
It was That's a better name than Dan's first character.
Oh my God! What was Dan?
Was it Malpocalypse or something
like that? Yeah, it's Malpocalypse. Though this does sound like a Malpocalypse character.
Anybody who
were
knows,
they the best
anybody
friends?
who knows, no. Anybody who knows Legend of the Five Rings will understand why I say that they were the Yogo family was the most edgiest edgelord of the samurai clan families in that game.
We're going to all take these characters to DrachenFest Australia.
Right.
Awesome.
I still have the costume for her.
Oh, so we're ready to go.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I don't know if I have the mask, but I still have the costume.
Incredible.
We can make this mask happen.
Well, thank you so much, Rhys, for joining us and letting us pick your brain about how cool it is to be a ref and also just what exactly refs do and how players can expect to interact with them when they arrive.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it, and I hope some folks who are listening give being a ref a try.
It'd be
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Carie, Jason, and I have returned from the Drachenlands, and that was really great. It was kind of interesting to learn about the mechanics and how they're loosey-goosey, but also when they need to be for safety reasons and things, they're very reassuring and there and provide great walls to the sandbox.
It felt like inside baseball. It felt like getting an insight behind the curtain and getting to know how things work, which would make me, and does make me, a lot more comfortable about playing.
And it's nice to know that the ref is there for new players when they arrive, that there is an orientation that new players, that everybody goes to in a pregame session when they arrive on site.
Before we leave the DrachenPod, I have a question.
Oh.
What camp would you each play?
I think it's important to note that as Limbus folks, the two of you are not allowed
We're
to
not.
join a
So,
camp.
so this is just us wishing we could.
For me, it's easy. Most characters that I play would end up being green camp. I play a lot of characters that are definitely a little more wild, a little more nature driven. The character that that I do play, and I've not played it a lot at DrachenFest, but the character that I do play is a were-rat, and definitely the were creatures, the shifters, definitely kind of think of green as their home base. You know, they have a shifters anonymous meeting every
That's
year.
anonymous. That's anonymous.
Right. so for me, it's green camp, which is kind of fun.
Fair.
What about you, Carie?
So I would also probably land in green camp,
Really?
but that's just because. And
The
this is
incredible violence.
Because you want to be where I am.
negative, sir. That is a negative. No, the very first year I was at DrachenFest, when all of the camps were parading by, green camp, as they were going by the Limbus, were chanting, "Blood makes the grass grow."
Yeah,
and
that's true.
that just burned into my head, and I was like, that is like the coolest, most badass thing I've ever heard, and I want to be part of that.
What about you, Jason?
Well, you know, I'm obviously that guy who can't make up his mind about anything.
Sure.
I have a different character in mind for every camp. But I think the one that I would probably have the most fun in is Blue Camp, mostly because it's a lot more chaotic and raucous, but not in a bad way, but it's in like a whole bunch of friends having not really a party for the whole weekend, but a little bit of like, we're going to have fun together. And we're not as concerned about the rest of the stuff. We're more concerned with, let's have this big experience together. And they also have coolest bars.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion. A lot
Sure.
of other people love some of the other taverns at the other
What is
sites.
the name of their tavern?
The altar.
Very cool.
Blue always feels like it's the Goonies to me.
Yes. Yeah. There's going to be some shenanigans.
Yes.
And sometimes those shenanigans will be effective. Many times they will not.
Although
But you'll have fun.
they did win last year.
They did win last
Blue
year.
Camp did
Yeah,
win.
that's
so
crazy.
This is the year of blue as we come into the 5th
Happy
anniversary.
Blue Year.
That's right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you again in a couple weeks, and hopefully we'll learn more cool things about DrachenFest.